This passage has some great code words that we're going to use to come up with a dumb summary or a guess for what the blank is supposed to be. In a study of the cognitive abilities of white-faced capuchin monkeys, researchers neglected to control for the physical difficulty of the tasks they used to evaluate the monkeys. So they neglected something that's bad, so they neglected to control for the difficulty. So, okay. The cognitive abilities of monkeys given problems requiring little dexterity, such as sliding a panel to retrieve food, were judged by the same criteria as were those of monkeys given physically demanding problems, such as unscrewing a bottle and inserting a straw. So demanding and requiring little. You should know what the word dexterity means. It means like, like if you're dexterous, you're skilled. You can kind of work with your hands and kind of be accurate with your hands. So dexterity is kind of like the ability to like juggle. You have to be dexterous for something like that. So putting aside all the complexity of the experiment, it's pretty clear that from the beginning they neglected something. So the results of the study, therefore, are inaccurate or might not be accurate, right? We could soften that a little bit, but there's a problem with the study. So I'm not really interested in the monkeys. They're not talking about the monkeys in this question, in this passage. They're talking about the study. The study is what's important, and that's what we're going to need to talk about. So let's look at the choices. The study could suggest that there are differences in cognitive ability among the monkeys, even though such differences may not actually exist. It's inaccurate, right? It suggests something that might not be there, so this seems to match. Let's continue. The results of the study are useful for identifying tasks that the monkeys lack the cognitive capacity to perform, but not for identifying tasks that the monkeys can perform. Well, it suggests maybe that they performed both the tasks, or that maybe even if they couldn't perform something, it's because it was more difficult. I really don't even understand what this choice is saying. And maybe this is why it's really good to have dumb summaries, is that if we know kind of what we're looking for, even when something is really hard to understand, we'll know that it's not giving us what we're looking for, that it's just not related to the idea we want. We might not understand the actual idea it contains, but we know it doesn't contain the idea we need. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about B right now. C, the results should not be taken as indicative of the cognitive abilities of any monkey species other than this one. Well, this gets to a classic SAT problem. This is going from small to big. We have a study about a particular monkey. This study had a particular problem. It's very specific, very unique to a one situation. And now choice C is starting to talk about other monkeys. It has nothing to do with that. That's not the issue. Let's not turn this small example into some big idea about monkeys and brains and all that stuff. It's not related. So be careful when they do this. D, reveal more about the monkey's cognitive abilities when solving artificial problems than when solving problems encountered in the wild. Well, this contrast was never put into this passage. The idea of like an artificial problem, like maybe unscrewing a bottle or something in the wild, this is just not part of what they were talking about, so it shouldn't be part of our answer. So choice A basically says what I expected it to say, and that is why it is correct. So it does help to understand enough of the passage that you can kind of make some guesses about, what's to come. You don't need to be very specific about those guesses. In fact, I would say keep it as simple as possible. And if you don't have a guess, don't worry about it. The answer choices will give you things to think about. And so then hopefully the passage will make more sense once you see the answers. I do think, though, that this is one where it was pretty clear where it was going. So try to take advantage of those opportunities.